Have not yet filed your 2021 income tax return, well, there is time to file. Time to receive that rebate, which is currently going to be several $100s at least, because the South Carolina taxpayers are currently set to receive a district and direct tax rebate up to $100 in one day. The State Department of Revenue says they are currently issuing a round of rebates, and now if you would like to apply for this relief, make sure to meet the qualifications for it. To be eligible, I'm talking about you must file your tax return by February 15th in order to receive the check by March. If you don't do it by February 15th, you're not going to get that check by March. Now, if you want to get the check sooner than that, here's a couple things that you can do. First of all, the mayor wants to make sure that everyone is eligible, and for this rebate to apply, he intends everybody to apply for the deadline by February. He said, "I don't want anyone to say they didn't have the chance to get the refund. Do it now and qualify." The city stated that this rebate is a good check, and mostly thanks to the city's administration increasing sales tax of 8.25%. So as of January, though, the finance director has estimated that between 1 million and 2 million of the 2021 homeowners and property taxes has been refunded thanks to the rebate. It's with an additional 600 grand still available. To apply for this rebate, residents must have owned their property tax for the 2021 entire year, and also pay the entire tax bill in 2022. They must then fill out a property tax refund application and mail it along with one proof of a property tax bill. The mayor has warned that this will likely be the one time the deadline is pushed back. And also, Alabama lawmakers are eyeing possible tax rebates as the reason they see a state budget surplus of more than $1 billion. The legislators will face a decision on what to do next, including how much to save, how much to spend, and how much to do with the money. But according to the Legislative Services Agency, the state budget has funds that education as a $3 billion surplus. The state general surplus has a smaller surplus of around $400 million. And now the senator who chairs the Senate Education Budget Committee said that lawmakers are working with the governor on a proposal that he expects to plan to include rebate checks, along with tax cuts and just putting money aside into reserves. Now, this money put aside into reserves should help people out with more stimulus. If it doesn't help them out with stimulus, well, it's bad news. But the good news is this. It's that the Republican lawmaker said he expects a proposal for tax cuts. He said it's important that the state put a lot of money into reserves. The AP reported that at least 15 states have approved a one-time check. There's been disagreement among lawmakers on how to use the rare budget surplus. Several Democrats would like the expansion of other areas, and even the Senate Democrat told reporters that if we could do a tax rebate, we could expand Medicaid and help people out. Help people out by giving them stimulus and give people stimulus money they need. We got attendees but the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SI, and SDI. There's a ton of stimulus in.
For millions of Americans, Social Security is a lifeline. Nearly 2/3 of all seniors depend on it for most of their income. It keeps 15 million people out of poverty. And for millions of people who suffer accidents, who get sick, Social Security disability insurance is there when they need it. We must protect Social Security. And that's why we're all here, is to protect Social Security.
If you meet the eligibility requirements, you could receive some financial support starting next month. An official fourth stimulus check plan has been proposed, and remember everybody, that the whole goal of this channel is to provide you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check news. I want to see every member of my community receive the much-needed stimulus payments. So Chuck Schumer is now urging lawmakers to make progress on annual government spending bills. On the Senate floor, Chuck Schumer said that he plans to sit down with Democratic lawmakers later this week to discuss the state of negotiations. That's done to pass a government bill within the next few weeks. So it would be really crazy if the government did shut down, and even if it was just a couple of weeks. Government shutdowns cause the disruption of government services and programs. It's even if lawmakers fail to pass an annual new government spending bill. The SSA, which is the Social Security Administration, has a contingency plan that would help the agency continue to operate, even in the event of a government shutdown. Lawmakers have until February 18th to reach an agreement on spending for fiscal year 2022, which could begin in October under the previous year's temporary continuing resolution passed last month. Under the previous year's spending levels, if Congress fails to pass a spending deal for fiscal year 2022 and instead opts for a continuing resolution, it will mark the third time that Congress had to resort to such measures since spending negotiations began last year. For homeowners who have fallen behind on the mortgages in the country, well, there is some support available to help you pay off things, like property tax, insurance bills, and your mortgage. Specifically for anyone in California, there is a new California Mortgage Relief Program, which will offer support of up to $80,000 to deal with the areas that have been hit hardest. Sources told Newsweek that the crisis has left many California homeowners struggling to cover their mortgage costs. The program is designed to help low to moderate income Californians who have lost their jobs or experienced financial hardships due to the crisis and fallen behind on their payments to get caught up and start fresh. The California Mortgage Relief Program is funded by a $1 billion grant from the federal government, which put aside $10 billion from the past 2 years, and according to a spokesperson, Georgia's Department of Revenue has already processed over 1.1 million total refunds. It totals about $257 million. If you haven't received your money yet, don't even worry. The Department of Revenue said the funds will go out over the next 8 weeks for those who filed by April 18th. Those who filed after the tax deadline will, of course, wait a little bit longer, as refunds will not be issued until one's tax returns have been processed. A Wall Street Journal analysis of Federal Reserve data reveals a concerning for residents who received an extended tax filing deadline of October 17th. The tax rebate check will be received by January 31st, 2023. Other states have also signed similar legislation, including Georgia, Delaware, Idaho, and Indiana. Now, breaking news, everybody. Senate Democrat Joe Manchin is upset at Senate Minority Mitch McConnell for opposing the new changes on President Biden's economic agenda. Top Democrats in the Senate are now revising a new version of the Build Back Better legislation. The lawmakers would like to see a monthly benefit boost included to the bill. Top Democrats in the Senate are now revising a new version of the Build Back Better legislation. The lawmakers would like to see a monthly benefit boost included to the bill. And today, Joe Manchin said on top that he's not dissuaded by warnings from the top Senate Republican leader to sink a bipartisan bill that would only strengthen the U.S. economic competitiveness. Manchin told reporters, "I'm not walking away if I can help the country, and if they want to play politics and play party politics, shame on them." Manchin added it was so wrong of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky to issue warnings to sink the bipartisan legislation, which would only boost the federal investment on emerging technologies like computer chips. The Kentucky Republican reiterated the ultimatum and tied to recent Democratic efforts to pass Biden's economic agenda. And during a speech on the Senate floor, McConnell said, "Party line scheming is going to crowd that out. Our side cannot agree to frantically steamroll through bipartisan talks in order to meet a timeline, so our Democratic colleagues can clear the decks to ram through a party line tax hike." McConnell warned and wanted to sink the bill as Democrats make progress towards clinching a deal with Manchin on a climate and tax economic spending package. But a spokesperson for Chuck Schumer said last week that Democrats plan to convene an all-senators classified briefing